Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. This is the second part of the process video, so if you missed the first part, you might want to go back and watch it. I got more coffee, drank more coffee, checked my list. This is really what I'm supposed to be doing because the project share for this is due tomorrow. Maybe we'll only make 4 cards. I think we have 3 so far. But while I was sitting here, I thought, okay, this would be amazing as a get well soon. And I think, let's check. Well, I don't know. We can't make that card because I don't know. But I feel like I have one that goes this way that would be really cute on this. This sympathy die might work, but it's kind of big and I don't love it. But I think this idea could be great. It would be really nice for a summer get well card. I might do that. Now, I think I'm having so much fun with the dogs and the flowers that I need to just accept it and fussy cut the rest of these, right? If you get this paper, just start fussy cutting. Or maybe you have a scan and cut and you know how to use it. You could do that. Okay, I did put a scrap on the inside and I like that one. Now I was thinking, remember yesterday when we were playing with the paper with the cool patterns? And I said, oh, we could take the dogs out of here. This one. These are bigger. We could make that card. Or we could make a card with 2 of these dogs. Maybe we'll just do both. How about that? I thought I would pull out tons of my red, white, and blue embellishments and stuff and play, but there's so much good stuff in here. I don't know that I will. Maybe when I get down to the point where I have either tired of or used up the majority of these. I'm also thinking this is going to be a super cute thank you card for the dog rescue. So instead of like this, I'll move the dogs and we'll have thank you across the front. Or rescued is my favorite breed. I don't know if that works as well with like 2 of the same dog. Last year, do you guys remember this paper from last year? Last year, Jamie had a red, white, and blue in Not Too Shabby shop that was amazing also, and it had super cute dogs. That would be fun, though, to have different dogs lined up. Anyway, when her papers come out, you need to get them while you can. Like, if you see this and you think, oh, I'd like to have that, you need to go check out Not Too Shabby shop. Jamie, you need to put your website on the front of your paper right here. I will link in these videos, too. Don't worry, you guys, but if you see paper like this, it's not like the great big companies where, oh, I'll just pick it up when I get it around to it or put in my next order. I love it like it's his drink just sitting there next to him. Too big. That's what my problem is. Let's go a little smaller. And I don't think I want to use those stitch dies. I mean, stitch, what's that got to do with 4th of July, really? There we go. And then getting the stars from the USA. That's it right there. I reuse the tape over and over until it's just not even tape. Okay, I'm going to take this, put it on my mat, and run it through my big shop. And I'm going to be careful when I peel the tape because when it's right at the edges, you don't want to tear it off your circle that you're trying to keep. If the circle wasn't what I wanted, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Now, do I have a plan? No, not really. I mean, that's not normally how I roll. I did really like the iridescent with it, but I think also there's just so many cool papers in here. I don't know that we should repeat. Oh, this is delicious. Anything. I might want to save this for something else. I'm trying to remember how many I get of each. Okay, 4 of each. We can use it. I'd be okay. Because I want a really small pattern or just a solid. So I'm probably looking in the wrong packet. I love these 2 together. This is just a great setup. Oh, that's a good one. No, you know me. I always want to bring out the red or the blue. It's also possible that I just keep tearing out the same papers again and you guys are laughing, but that's okay. Okay, so let's pull a circle of this. Let's move it in a little so I can use it as a card base later if I want. I'm not going to go right to the edge. Well, actually, it's a pretty big circle, isn't it? There we go. Okay. If you're new here, so sorry about the mess, but that's how I roll. I very, very seldom make what I would call a tutorial video. I just make videos having fun and making messes. And I'm more than happy to bring you along with me. In fact, sometimes I do crafting online with a friend, but you can't do both, right? You can't like talk about your husbands and record it for the internet. No, it's okay. We have good husbands. Okay, loving that. What are we going to do with it? No idea. Also, I'm starting to run out of card bases. I had to fold the other one to get one that was the right size. I bought some Michaels paper that had some problems, and so we're still recovering from that. Okay, it does say USA right there, so we might as well lean into that. We could put America over here, or let freedom ring. Ooh, we could have a big stamped. No, I think I don't want to lean into the stamps a whole bunch. I want to use these papers more. So let's find another pattern and go for it. We could do something like this with the reverse. I wonder how many times I change my mind. I might be embarrassed when I edit this video. Ooh, that would be fun. You know, it's like, if you're not from the US, gingham, I think that's what this is called. It's like 4th of July picnics and stuff. Picnic tables a lot. Okay, but we need something. Oh, you know what might be cool? Do we have any just like scraps of these papers and strips? Usually as I go, I put my strips in a pile. Here we go. I mean, I'm not saying I know where the pile is, but I make the pile. I think we need a long one though. I don't want those two touching. Didn't speak to me. Ooh, do you want a touch of flowers? Now, even if we have a narrow strip under here, we can support it underneath so that it's not like bent. Don't worry about that. Like if you want to layer things up, just add paper underneath it. Don't use your favorite paper. 5. Nope, that's not right. Were you guys watching me? Oh, what if we put a navy layer behind this too? How big is this one? 4. I'm going to cut this 5 1/4 so we can keep our options open. But it might be cool with navy or even with that because we used that circle. And then at what point do you say that's too many patterns? How many? That is cute. But he's just kind of boring, you know? He needs... Oh, yeah. He needs something, doesn't he? That is cute. And I love mixing the geometric of the gingham with the kind of mixed media looking paper. That's it for me. That is it right there. I am sure there are 5 other versions of this card that I would like. But when I see one that I like, I just go, yep. Now, I am so happy with this and all the papers. Typically, I would put another layer behind this. I don't know why. I'm just kind of obsessed with layering. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to bring in cardstock or anything. We could. Let's test it. You won't get your votes counted, but you can see what it would look like, and then you can decide in future cards if you would have done it that way. Let's find the piece we cut the circle out of. Okay, here we go. So we could trim these a little smaller and then put this. This is why you trim them small, right? So you haven't wasted it. You could put this right here. Okay, yeah, it's cute. I'm doing it. See, that's why I do it. I don't know the graphic design term or the artsy term for it, but I just think it makes it more polished. If you didn't have enough paper and you couldn't add it, then it would look like this. And I still think when your friend got that card in the mail, they would say it was cute. Either way, right? To do the layers that I do, and if I have some videos where I actually show measurements, I'm going to cut this piece 4 by 5 1/4. And for simplicity, now I'm going to glue all the parts together and then glue it down. Now, we're going to need to trim these because they're too big, because I changed my mind. Which, you know, that happens a lot, doesn't it? No problem with that. I'm going to trim off of this end of the blue just based on where I think I want the dog to sit. There we go. And I'm going to take this one down to 3 3/4 so it shows around the edge. I don't think I'm going to change the width of this one. We'll see it when it's all put together if we say, that's wrong. Oh, I like that side too. What do you do when you just, oh, see, we're covering that up. Urgh. I don't really like to buy single-sided paper because I feel like it backs me into a corner, you know, oh, you have to use this one. But sometimes when you get wonderful double-sided paper, it is tricky for your brain. Okay, now I'm just I didn't put a big X through the middle because it'll be sticky. Oh, you guys are going to have to wait, sorry. Maybe I'll edit that out for you. But I do want to cut a circle to take care of this floppy. Again, not quite big enough because I used one of those squares. I could have just snipped the corners off, but I wasn't sure what size it should be. Okay, there we go. Definitely want to take our good circle out of there. And I would say for the most part, we use way more adhesive than we need. So if you want to be a frugal or environmental crafter, you can keep that in mind. Also, if you want it not leaking out on your projects. Okay, now lining this up so that my gingham doesn't show will be a little tricky. But we can totally do, oh, see? This is a tough one. Okay, I'm going to use wet glue on this circle for the same reason that we talked about on the other card. And again, these papers have a little bit of a sheen to them. So not quite like, oops, I was watching the cameras to see if you could see. Not quite like mirror paper, but again, they don't absorb as much. See, both sides are awesome. So I'm going really lean. It's handy that my glue pen is filthy and not much comes out. Then we're going to go right here. So you just want to be careful about how hard you're pushing and how much you're using. If you're using mirrored cardstock or fancy papers like this with the sheen, it's just not going to drink up as much. So you don't need as much. And if you try and use as much, you're going to be sad because it's going to come out. Now, I do want the option to jiggle on this to get it straight, but I don't trust myself to not mess up the edges and have it ooze out. So I'm going to give up that option and go with ATG because it never oozes out. I don't think I loaded this cartridge very well because it keeps... It may also be that I'm not like paying enough attention and setting my gun down all the way because this paper's slick, right? And it has to kind of take it in. The blue there, I don't know. It's not forming a ridge. It's just kind of helping my eye a little bit and really getting it lined up. Then I'm going to go over here and gingham doesn't show, so perfect. That's our whole goal. Oh my gosh. Now, had I been paying attention, I might have put it up just a tiny bit. So let's see if I want to go. Yeah. Well, that's different for me. Woo. I'm trying something new. I think I always go the other way with my design down lower and my pattern up. I'm not even sure now, because he's popped and he's got so much going on. I'm not sure I'm going to put anything else on him. I might just put Rescued is My Favorite Breed on the inside and leave it at that. But I am going to put under these ends right here, I'm going to put a little something. This is a cute paper, but we're not going to use too much of it, so it's okay. I mess this up a lot where I don't put it at the bottom or the top. I don't put it right where I want it. And all you're doing is gluing a little bit of something in there to catch on that and to keep him from being floppy. So now that end is going to be supported. And sometimes I do it this way, so I make sure I get it in the right spot, because I kind of didn't get that one perfect. So it's really important that I get this one right. So I'm going to just stick it under, not touching it, not touching, not touching, touching. And now let it sit there for a minute. Now I haven't put glue on the back, haven't glued it down yet. All I've done is glue it to the front. Okay, now I'm going to let those sit, and while I'm letting that sit for a sec, let's get this on a card base. If you saw the whole counter, you would be laughing. I have a lot of different projects going on, different types of card bases floating around with different things stamped on them. All sorts of stuff going on. I am hoping, like I said, I have no idea when you're going to see this video, but I'll just ramble about stuff which may or may not matter by then. I am hoping to get far enough and start packing for Girls Beach Weekend, or at least figure out what I'm going to take. I realized that Smash Our Stash video is due during Girls Weekend. I haven't even started or thought about it. It's just been, oops, okay, I got a little adhesive on there. Let me show you my trick. This thing is like the best $2.50 I ever spent in my life. Sorry, I cut the top off so it fit in the drawer better. But I think it's from iCraft. Oh, ThermoWeb. And it's an adhesive eraser. It's not a sand eraser, which I would not use on these papers. So it's not going to scratch it. It just kind of, it's like the idea of rubber cement grabbing glue. And it did it. It's gone. I don't know what that was. Must have been a little bit of ATG on the counter. I'm really bad about that. I get glue on things or ink on things, and then I just keep going. Now I'm just going to wet glue him so we can put him wherever we want. And I'm going to put wet glue on those dots, and then I'm going to put wet glue kind of across the middle. I'm not going to put it all the way down and like glue him into a divot. Does that make sense? Probably not. That's the technical crafter term. That's golf, isn't it? I'm going to go down as far as I can, I think, and then that's it. And I'm going to put this. You don't need a lot of weight. All you're trying to do is just overcome a bit of gravity for a second. And art glitter glue is probably already done. Do you know where the pin is? This is what I've been thinking about a lot. What does the barefoot crafter say who can't find her pin? Ouch. That's what she says. Yeah, I took the ribbon off. I was going to tell you guys this story. This bottle has a narrow ribbon. No problem. This one had a really thick, like wider than this, I think you call it grow grain. And as it got more glued and the glue dot under it got sturdier and sturdier, it would lay on the counter. The ribbon would lay on the counter like this, and the pin would stick straight up. It stabbed me in multiple crafting sessions. A couple of them were on camera. So I took the ribbon off. And I don't like those big beaded things because they're kind of heavy. And I don't think I'm responsible enough to just have a magnet on my jar and put it on there. But I don't know, I might try and be one of those people. Usually I put like a scrap or something on the inside, but I think we're just gonna go with Rescued is My Favorite Breed. Where did the Night and Navy pad go? Because I like that with this dark paper. And if you don't have every blue ink known to man, that's okay. You do not have to worry about it. You could use blue, you could use black. Somebody will still absolutely love your card. If you haven't been watching me for a long time, I don't have a lot of inks. I do have a lot of blue inks. if you look through my drawer, like sometimes I have trouble making grass or something because I don't have a green one and I have to go find a marker because I don't have an ink pad. And that's okay. Buy what you like and you will use. Now, if you're scared of woodblock stamps, well, you just got to do it. You don't get a reset on a woodblock like you do with a stamp positioner. But this is a really nice stamp. It's a really nice ink pad. I let it sit for a while. It's not absolutely perfectly centered. I do not think the world will end. I think even with that stamp on the inside, we could use a tiny scrap. You know, how about a splash of red in there? On this one, I just put like an itty bitty. And I'm kind of thinking the same thing here. Maybe we have a bit of gingham. Well, if we're doing gingham, we have to go a little wider to show the pattern. That's just my theory. I mean, that's not in any way true. Or let's go like this. There we go. We can use that for something else later. That's how I get when I'm like hoarding papers. Sometimes towards the end, the scraps get bigger because I'm tired of the paper and I want to get it used up. I don't know where the pin is, you guys. Oh, there we go. It came out. I like art glitter glue because it dries faster. When I use the Barely Art, sometimes I slide because I assume by now it has set and it hasn't. Some people like that extra few seconds that it gives you. You just have to be used to working with it. And I have a theory that it is a tiny, tiny, tiny bit shinier than art glitter glue. So I have tried both. If you have one or the other, use it. Do not get rid of it and buy the other one. Okay, there we go. Since I can't find the Get Well die and I haven't fussy cut these flowers, we can't make that one right now. But keep it in mind. I think it would be a cute card. Maybe I'll make more coffee and fussy cut those. Oh, we have to make this one. These two little cuties are sitting here. We got to make that one. How funny. When I agreed to do this, I hadn't seen the paper yet, right? Like that's part of the surprise. You have to trust your designers. Oh, I was going to tell you more about agreeing to use products. I will. But I knew it would be gorgeous paper. I had no idea it would have cute dogs in it again. Can I have more dogs, Teresa and Jamie? More dogs, please. Some people might like cats too. Let's make this card and then I'll tell you about this. So normally I don't do product promotions. I'm really, really picky about that. I accepted Barely Art, made in the US, new glue on the scene, wanted to know about it. And again, if you buy it or someone gives it to you, it is great glue. It is like these two, love my fancy art glitter glue bottle, are so close and both so amazing. I don't know that there's anything else at the same level of them. There are some situations where I like Barely a tiny bit better. Gluing big plastic chunky things, buttons, that kind of stuff. In my mind, it works better. I don't know if that's true. I may have made that up. But I am really picky about, sorry, I can't plan and talk at the same time. So let's pick our papers and then I'll tell you. We're going to have two dogs. They've got all the colors. They're pretty busy. We already have the dog on this paper because he pops nicely. See, on these pale ones, I just don't think they'll pop as well unless we put them on something dark. That's an idea. Also, I don't know who my audience is, so I'm not going to go with like the really young coffee images and stuff on this one. I'm going to go, well, I mean, let's consider we might be sending this to someone of a different demographic, right? Like this one with the coffee or the ones with the girl, like that's a younger. Oh my gosh. Is that pattern too big for the dogs? Oh, this one's great too. Decisions are hard around here today. Okay, if we use this paper, I want to give it, last time I only gave it a 1/4 inch, and I think that was a bummer. So if we use this paper, I want to give it a 1/2 inch border, which might be kind of tricky for these guys to stand up, but we could go horizontal. And again, I usually do not plan cards this well. A star or a heart would be really cute. Might be tricky to work in, but let's see. Okay, what if we take out the gingham? We go here. This will make mounting them super annoying, by the way, because I'll have to fix their feet and stuff and put a layer behind them. Oh, what do you think? Fun? I don't know what the finished thing looks like yet. I don't know if we're going to double layer our star. We need some red, don't we? I think so. That'll make it fun. Okay, so for product placement stuff, I'm really picky. I have learned, and I'm watching, and I think about who I want to support, where the products are designed, made. If I can support a small business that is doing their manufacturing in China, I can live with that. I'm still supporting people that I believe in and that kind of thing. But if I get an email from a random company, which there's one out there that's hot on the scene, ask yourself, what company is brand new, has 4 letters in the name I've never heard of, and lots of crafters are doing videos about? Did I respond to the email? No. One time I was going to do a series for you guys. I just got sidetracked and started deleting the emails because the number of emails that I get are ridiculous. And I don't write back to most of them. If I haven't heard of them, I will write back and ask, hey, where are your products made? That kind of thing. Really think about who you're supporting. The videos that you click, watch, give a thumbs up, you're promoting whatever's in that video. So honestly, I skip some of those videos, even if it's my friends, because I don't want to promote certain things. If I don't know who made it or where it came from, that one would be fun too, because it lightens it up. Or if I do know and I've asked all those questions, I don't. I think I'm a finance nerd, you guys. I am. And so all the money can't go to one country. It doesn't work like that. It has to be split up. That's why I get so excited about some of these European paper brands. Do you think it should be red? Well, let's try it. We'll cut it. If we don't like it, we won't use it for this card. We'll use it for something else. I think the smaller one should be this, and then maybe we're going to want a red one in the bigger one. So anyway, this is a company that I understand who is designing these products and what's going on. And also, I mean, it's literally like they're taking my order, isn't it? That helps too. It's like they called me up and said, hey, Sarah, what would you like to see in your red, white, and blue papers this year? Oh, I'd like to see dogs and blue flowers. All right, then. They didn't. That's not how it went. Okay, and as a guest designer, you don't get to see the paper in advance, right? You just say, yeah, I'll try it. But I have total faith in Not Too Shabby Shop. Yeah, it needs red. Like, it kind of gets washed out. Ooh, but it is kind of fun. What's on the back of this? Maybe we should stop cutting up so many things. No, we have to stick with stars. I absolutely love stars. I love blue. Sorry, was I too zoomed in so you didn't get to see anything? So this is like the most fun ever for me. Okay. Here we go. Then our cute little doggies. And I think like this doggie is a little further back, and then this one's a little more to the front, and they're on their star. That is cute. But it needs something, right? It either needs a sentiment or it needs a red layer, or maybe it needs both. So is this the one I'm supposed to cut next? Okay, let's cut a red star, because even if, not gingham, too much for this. Even if we don't use it on this card, we'll use it. Now this star, I think, is too big to Yeah, it's really pushing it. I'm not going to try and cut this star out and then backfill it for a card base. I'm just going to put it at the edge and go for it. And on the last one, I didn't even think about it, so I didn't do that one that way either. You know, some people, when they make card videos, they do all that die cutting and stuff in advance, and, well, that's a really great idea. Wouldn't I have to have a plan for that? Okay, let's see. What do you think? Da-da-da. Is it too much? Is it too dark? I say we try it. I don't think you can put these dogs on any card and not have it be cute. Okay, but I do need to decide, are we going up here? I think we put it up here. And then down here, how about a thank you die? I am quite certain I have 1,000,000. Too big, I think. Oh, that one might be perfect because it won't cover up too many of the stars. That one, I don't love the font. This one, let's see what we think. Oops, sorry. I think this one, because there's stars at both ends and I want to go right between them. What do you think? Then, okay, I know, it's the layering. I just can't stop the layering. I'm also thinking maybe we'll come in like this. Okay, now here's what we have to figure out. Do we want to do the thanks? We could repeat this exact same layering with the thanks, but I think we should go with white. I think the back layer should be white and maybe the front layer should be blue, just because there's so much going on already. Now, in my scrap jar right here, let's see what we have that might work with this. I want to use that paper for the front, but let's see if we have a, oh, that's not white. Let's see if we have a white. No, we've got a lot of weird stuff in there though. There we go, scrap white. I always forget boring things like this when I go to the beach, so I should leave this out while I'm at it. Here we go, this is a super thick white, probably like 110 or something. So that will be good to help us layer it up and give it some pop. These are not sticky, I don't think. This purple highlighter tape, this was an experiment. Don't run out and buy that. I still like that purple tape that they stopped making, that I don't know why they stopped making. That was pretty much my favorite one. Okay, I'm going to use my little tiny die cutter because we're right. Actually, this isn't the die I wanted to use, you guys. Keep an eye on me, will you? Now I've cut the paper wrong. Yeah, okay, we'll die cut that one out of that later. Here's the other end of the piece of paper. This one has damage. Looks like I drove a car over it, maybe. It'll be fine because we're gluing to the back of it. Okay, I am going to cut this in my big die cutter just because I want the absolute cleanest, best cut I can get. And I don't know if you always get that on your little ones. You know, sometimes you get those little frayed edges that make me crazy. Felt like it was 110, so it was definitely going to be a trick to cut it, and it cut it beautifully, didn't it? Look at that. Let's cut the same word. Okay, that's not bad. We'll keep that in mind. Maybe that's all we're going to do there. Seems unlikely for me, though, doesn't it? I want it to go horizontal across the colors. It is slightly variegated. I don't know if that's the word, but it is. It might be time for me to pull out some new mats, which I hope that I have. You know, there's a moment all of a sudden where you're like, yep, it's time. It's hard to know what products you're going to need, because do you go through phases where you don't die cut for weeks? I mean, I probably go through times where I don't use that Big Shot for, I don't know, days or weeks. I don't know if I want to offset it or if I just want to mount it. That's boring. I do not like that. What do you think? do not like that at all, okay? I actually like that much better. Since we already have this cut, let's see if we like it as an offset, maybe. Kind of just looks, it's this pattern. I don't like it peeking out from behind. So I think I'm going to go with thanks. But while we're at it, if you layer your die cuts or if you heat emboss on them to give them shine, it makes them pop more. And I think I'm going to cut another layer of thanks just in white, so it's a double thickness. Isn't it funny how you get something in your mind and you're sure you're going to love it, and then you go, nope. And this is all my whites mixed and matched. That's fine, but if it's going to show, or if you're trying to get a lot of pop because you want the more dimension, then reach for a thicker scrap. See how some of those, I don't know if you can tell on camera, some of them are not a good white. I can't find, this is Nina 80 pound, and I only know that because I wrote it on there with a pencil for some reason. So I'm going to die cut this one, and I'm going to put it probably maybe on the front because Nina is so beautifully white. I can't remember the name of the color, but we bought 80 pound because I think Noni likes the color on it. I don't use it. I just forget to swap it with her because I don't like 80 pound for card bases. And I mean, how much do you guys see me color? That's not my thing, right? It is a lot better color than the one behind it, though. The one behind it was probably the Michaels ones I use for card bases. I'm going to glue this off camera because you will die of boredom, and it is a little harder for me to see and stay right here because there's a shadow. I'm going to use art glitter glue. I could also use, but for some reason I never do, maybe because I don't know where it is. Oh, this quickie glue. This just puts out a little tiny bit. Since I took the time to find it, maybe I'll use it. It's a marker glue. It's a roller. So if you get it warmed up, I think it works fine. Maybe I'll tell you which one I used. And I'm also going to cut us the back layer of the red while I'm off camera because you don't need to watch me do that either. Funny things happened on the way to getting that done. I'm almost out of coffee. I got more and drank it. Oh, by the way, this is not planned. This is from a lovely subscriber. So these are in my craft room absorbing my coffee spills. I used the quickie pen all over the thanks, and then I added dots of art glitter glue like right here and right here on these bigger sections because I don't know that I trust the quickie pen to bring it all together. I glued the star together while you weren't watching and used wet glue to layer that up. I should have kept going and prepped the dogs, but I didn't think about that. Then funny thing happened on the way to cutting the red background. Remember, it was going to be easy, so I was just going to do it without you. The pad only has 2 of each of the, what would you call them? Like background papers or more subtle. And we already used them. These were different things that we had going on the other card, right? We've already made this one with it. So what I did was I caught myself and I went, oh, I can make this work. This piece back here is bigger. It's 4 inches. You can see how it's like 4 1/8. It almost covers the whole card front. And then see how the red is much narrower? It's 1/8. Had I cut this blue sheet down, which I was about to do, to 3 3/4 to get my mat, it would have showed right here. It wouldn't have covered those points. So I caught myself and adjusted, and that's what you should do. You shouldn't be set on, oh, my card background has to be X or Y. It doesn't. But I was like, well, I could look around, and I went through the pad and I said, nope, I want to make this piece of paper work. And even with that narrow border, I can get it on straight. If I make my card fronts 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just like the base, I just have a heck of a time getting them together decent. I cut this out of craft while I was at it, and the camera was off because it was the first thing I put my hand on that was big enough. Then we're going to flip that. It did cause just a little crinkle right here, and I laid it out nice like this and went with my bone folder and smoothed it. And then I put it over here because it was kind of catching my eye on this side. Okay. Oh, forgot what we were doing already. See, the card's not even supposed to go that way. Then I remember that we had these stars on each end of the word thanks, and I don't want to lose that, so I'm turning it back that way because that's how I chose this die, right? And then with the white, oh my gosh, how cute are we? We can even float it just right so more stars show. And then this guy, and then this guy. This is going to be tricky, like I said, but I think the dogs are worth it. Typically, I would cut my background shape right here bigger and be sure that my dog sits all the way on it so I don't have to mess with layers and making sure that his head doesn't curl around, that kind of thing. I think we're going to have the most issue probably with the guy with the hat. Maybe not so much if we move him down, but I don't want them to be cute, not crowded. I'm going to commit and glue the star down. Then I'm going to glue the dogs to it. And that is because I don't have a better plan and I want to know where I need to support the dogs with layers. And I want to be sure I don't get sidetracked working on the dogs and cover up my stars on my background paper. There's just a lot going on here. So I want those to show. I want that one to show. I don't really care if the star is perfectly straight, but I do want stars behind it to show. His flag's going to cover him. I didn't think about that. He can go a little lower maybe. And then that one peeks out. Okay, now stamp block works really well, and I had one. Has a dirty stamp on it, so you need to be careful. Let that dry. Oh, forgot about this guy already. Okay, let's glue him down and get him situated too. Again, same thing, right? This will drink glue pretty well, but this is the sheen paper and it's going to ooze out. So I think you'll get to see pretty much what I did on the other layer. And I have to pull up my chair for this. This is serious crafting. You'll hear me use the word fiddly sometimes. We're getting a little borderline here on my tolerance of fiddly because fiddly is like, okay, I got to make sure the pen's working. Yeah, it is. Tedious. I don't like really detailed stuff, but I do make a lot of thank you cards, and so I have a lot of thank you dies, and I like cute cards, so every once in a while, you got to do the tedious. If I had cut this out with self-adhesive on the back, it would have fought me a little bit getting it in and out of the die, but I wouldn't have to do this part right now. So there's pros and cons. And if you're not familiar with that, Sizzix and a whole bunch of people make double-sided adhesive, and we have those big rolls of it that we buy sometimes. I use mine a lot for journal covers, but they're also great for, gosh, I hope that's a bubble, not a thing of glue. They're also great for layering your dies. The problem is it requires a bit of planning that I'm not really known for. I can't find the other needle or other pin. Okay, good, it was a bubble. So I usually just add my glue after. Also, it never even occurred to me, silly me, to look in my box of die cuts because I bet I had some amazing ones in there. Probably not boring white, but probably some really cute blue and white ones or different things. I haven't restocked my box in a long time, so I know it's getting a little lean. Now, if I was wiser, I would have tidied this up a bit and like checked the edges and made sure they were clean enough and I was happy with them before I put the glue on. On a sheen paper, you have to be really careful. You can't like come back in with a scratchy tool later and go around the edges or you're going to leave a mark on your paper. So there we go. I don't know if I planned exactly how I wanted it, but that's okay. Now, a star peeking out is going to look the same as glue peeking out right now. So I'm going to use a plastic tool very gently, very, very, very gently, okay, to figure out that that was glue peeking out, not a star. Like I said, right, we could scratch our papers and leave a mark. Then a little bit in the S. That's common on this die. I got carried away. Then I'm going to move this to right here. That actually might even be a little heavy. It's going to squish, and then just let it sit for a minute. Playing with it is not a good idea. Not on a paper like this, because it's going to keep moving, especially if you had used Barely Art, because it'll, you know, give you 5 seconds or so. This isn't the right pin. I've completely lost the pin. So the problem is it's white. It's probably on the floor. But I do have slippers on today, so we're safer. Okay, now let's start thinking about our dogs. And do we have a card base? Here we go. This one has some dirt on it, but that won't show, right? It's probably ink. In a minute, I'll check it and make sure that it's a decent size to work for this, because this card is extra big, so we have to be careful. And I did have a bunch of rejects of card bases. I mean, you can roll with things and adapt a lot, but that Michael's paper was tricking me. Took a minute, drank some coffee. Think we're good. My tea is not perfectly lined up, but I'm just gonna have to live with that. Okay, now, does it work on this card base? Whew, not really. These, it's a long story. You don't need to know it. I'll get us one. I decided I'm not going to worry about the card base for now. I'll add it and you can see it. Well, you probably have already seen it in the other video by now. If we put those dogs, oh, just like that, the flag's going to stick off the page and out of the envelope. That's not going to work. We got to move him over. Something to keep in mind. He could sit right there. Then this guy could come up. Space-wise, that's kind of annoying as far as how much I have to layer. If we put him right there, we're good. Now, what that means is his feet need a little something. They need support, or they're going to be floppy. They might catch going in and out of the envelope. They might just look sloppy. I mean, you could just glue them down flat, but I'm not going to do that. For this, I want to be sure that it's the same brand of paper, just so we get the same thickness. So we'll take, trying to find something that doesn't make me the happiest since sliced bread. And in this paper collection, that's hard to do. Oh, okay, we'll just use the scrap of this red. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to cut little, tiny, paw-sized supports. White would have been smarter, because that way, if I mess up and it shows in any way, then it would be okay. But I think we'll be okay. So what we're going to do on this one is we're going to do it like I did before. Again, is that a bubble or a... Oh, I found the pin, you guys. Okay, I'm spreading that glue out. Tweezers like this come in real handy at this point because they are tiny. They go in sideways like that. So I'm going to put that right under his little foot, and it's going to work perfect because I saw it. I mean, I'm going to lift him up to do it, but I tested it and I know it works. Just little paw supports. See what we're making here? So we don't have floppy feet. And again, skimpy on the glue. Oops. And then try not to drop it. Oh, good. You guys couldn't even really see how bad it was because you were zoomed in too much. There we go. Okay. Little paw supports. I am not going to put anything behind the flag, but I'm definitely not going to glue it down either. Kind of like on that last one. We want our flag moving, right? We've got our feet. I don't want him totally in the middle. I want him over there. Oh, you know what I forgot? Duh. It's 2 layers of paper. Come on, you guys. Were you yelling at me like, that's not going to be enough? Couldn't figure out why they were still floppy. We need another layer of paw support. And the second layer doesn't have to be exact or anything. That first layer is going to keep the little feet from bending or flopping around too much. So I never worry like if the pieces line up perfectly or that. I don't care about that. As long as they don't show. And some of that might not show at all in the video, so you just think that I'm crazy. That's okay. I might be. There we go. I'm going to glue him down because I am happy with him, and I think it's going to be too tricky to try and do them both at one time. And when I glue him down, my goal is going to be to push him up as high as I can and get that flag right to the edge like that. Now remember, this sheen on this paper, I'm probably going to be able to clean off the glue if I'm quick, but if I dropped my dog and got all rowdy, that sheen is not going to be real forgiving. I don't know. Maybe with a damp cloth, if I was quick, it would be perfection again. Look at that. He's cute. Now, if you only had one dog or you only cut one and you were like, I am done, I think that would work too. But if I was only going to do one dog, I would have moved him over farther. Now, the flag is bothering me a little bit. I'm worried it's going to get damaged. I'm going to put something under the flag. Change my answer. Because it's super bent, maybe from me fussy cutting it. It's sticking out too much and kind of asking for problems. And I can't let it get ripped off or anything. I don't know that it would. Does that ever happen? So I'm just laying that rectangle down behind there and then just holding it gently. And if you wanted a banner or a flag or something, you could crinkle it like we did with the flowers. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do that to the flag. But if you wanted like a more aged look on something, that would be another way to do it. Okay, then I'm just going to put him right here. He is going to need a little paw support, an ear, definitely. I think his hat will be okay because I can glue his hat all the way here and up here. But his ear, let's put something under there. This is kind of tedious, isn't it? And when we started laying this card out and I knew the dogs weren't going to fit on the star, this is what I was talking about. But it's fun. And otherwise, if you're me and you're too lazy to do stuff like this, you end up with your cards being similar, right? Because you always have your dog, flower, elephant, whatever, right in the middle of your shape. And sometimes it's fun to have more than one. I think I get in a rut where I just have one dog or one everything. Oh my gosh. Now, the little paw, I mean, we just need a tiny bit. There's not going to be much sticking off, I don't think. I just don't want him to lose his foot or have it be bent weird. It's a lot easier, like on the one where we did the circle. Like, it's a lot easier when we just put those on, right? And everything was straight. Once you start getting into animals and other shapes and stuff, it's tricky. Since my battery's dying, this is definitely going to be the end of the process video. So you'll see final cards in the project share, or actually you already did. And I don't know if I'm going to put like bling or other things on these. I haven't really decided. And honestly, sometimes I just get in a hurry and don't do that for those final videos. Oh, he's just too cute. Okay, so we're going to glue all the way up the side of him on his hat right there. And then we're going to put glue on the red spots here. We're going to go like this. But we don't think his hat is going to be fully supported. Okay, ready, set, here we go. We've been working on this card for a long time. I'm going to put his ear down and scooch down to the edge, put his foot, scooch over. That's funny, he's farther away from that dog than I imagined. There we go. I don't want like a big empty spot between them. Okay, now I'm not going to fiddle, you know, even though I want to. Something's wrong with his ear. I think I got his ear a little bit on top of the first layer, so it's sticking out. That's okay. He'll be fine. Thanks so much for watching. You can see the other video I'll link below, or you'll see it in the descriptions, and it will say not too shabby shop, something about that, okay? And it'll be on May 1st. Take care of yourselves, and I hope you're taking time for crafting and relaxing. Bye-bye.